everybody, it's Miss Jaclyn here, and I love American Girl. You guys know that. We're going to be doing a really cool American Girl craft bag for the month of June, and it is all based on Kira Bailey, who is the American Girl for the year of 2021. So she's Girl of the Year this year, and what's really cool about Kira's story is that her two aunts live in Australia, and they actually have a animal sanctuary that they run, and she goes to help them take care of the animals, and they have all kinds of animals they help, like kangaroos and wombats, and they're also dealing with, of course, as many of you may have heard over the past few years, that Australia deals with some very severe wildfires. So she's dealing with a lot of the current events that we're dealing with in terms of wildlife in Australia. So I decided to do a video and a craft bag for Kira. So the first thing you're going to want to know about your craft kit is that it does come with a brochure. It will have a link to this video if you do want to reference the video. And it just has a little synopsis for each craft that you're going to be doing in the bag, and it's front and back. And so it's a really cool little trifold brochure that I created for you guys. Now you're going to get a bag like this. It's a brown paper bag. Now you're not going to want to destroy your brown paper bag because it's going to be a part of the crafts, okay? So it's really important that you hang on to it to do your crafts. Now, you'll notice in your bag is going to come rolled up a piece of either yellow or orange, very long construction paper, and inside will be rolled up with it a piece of brown construction paper and a template that has a kangaroo on it. So the first craft you're going to be able to make from your bag is dot painting. Now this is based on Aboriginal dot painting in Australia, and we decided to do a kangaroo because, of course, kangaroos are known for being an native Australian animal, and of course Kira, she actually helps take care of, for example, orphaned baby kangaroos. They even put them in like a bag, and because their mothers have them in their pouch, but if they don't have their mothers, and they put them inside these really cute little bags that they have to carry them around. Wouldn't that be fun to be able to carry a kangaroo around? And so you're going to have all your pieces, and then you're also going to have a strip of paint pots that'll have all different color paints for your project. Most of them are, for example, like brown, blue, white, green. They're not going to be rainbow colors because you are wanting to do more natural colors for this project, because those are the kind of colors that they would use in the Aboriginal art. So for your dot painting, the first thing you're going to want to do is use your template of your kangaroo to cut out the brown construction paper into the shape of a kangaroo. And then you're going to be able to glue that to either the center of your paper, or you can glue it off to the side, whatever you would prefer. Your bag also will come with a pencil. Now, if you have pencils at home, you can use those as well. It's best if you have a pretty new pencil with a pretty new eraser that hasn't been used much, because you're going to use the pencil eraser to dip into your paint to be able to create the dot effect. Now, you can do your design in any way you like. Miss Jaclyn, I was just inspired by some examples that I saw online. I even have an example of a real dot painting of a lizard on here as well, and you can see that there's all kinds of different designs that you can do. You're not limited. You're only limited by what you come up with in your imagination, and you can do the colors in any ways that you like as well. Now, I did end up deciding towards the end that I wanted to do smaller dots to kind of go with in between the bigger dots. So I ended up using the tip of a paintbrush. But if you find something at home that works better, then you can do that. Either way, the paint is washable. You can wipe it off. So it's whichever works for you. And that way I was able to create a more of effect in between the big dots. And so that's a lot of fun. Take your time, enjoy creating your dot painting. Now, the next craft that's going to be in your bag is going to look like this in terms of the supplies. You will have a really nice piece of either watercolor paper or pastel paper. You will have a Bilby, which is a marsupial from Australia, and you'll have a Zentangle piece to Zentangle. And attached to it will be a little bag with some very beautiful pastel chalks, courtesy of Miss Marissa. Thank you, Miss Marissa. So what you're going to be needing to do first is you're going to need to Zentangle your Bilby. Now you'll see that Miss Jaclyn, I went through and each section of your Bilby, which is empty on the original, you go through with a pen and you create a pattern. Now you can look online for some patterns, or you can just create them from your own mind, and you can create all kinds of patterns. And I tried to do a different one in each section of the Bilby, all the way up to his ears. Once you're done doing that, you can cut out your Bilby and you can glue it to the pastel or watercolor paper. Once you do that, you can do your design in chalk around it. I did it where I did the background first and then tried to put the Bilby on, and that's a little bit difficult because the chalk is kind of hard for the paper to adhere to. So I would recommend doing it the other way around. But you'll have at least 3 pieces of chalk to create any kind of design that you would like behind your Bilby. I tried to make it kind of, again, the natural colors, the greens, the browns, the yellows. And if you have chalk at home, you can add more colors if you like. And it turns out really, really neat. Oh, my Bilby doesn't want to stay up though. And again, that is another native Australian animal. And they are mentioned in Kira's story. There was a Bilby that actually got attacked by an animal, and so they had to take care of it. It got scratches, so they had to take care of it at the sanctuary. So I'll put this back in the bag so you can kind of see how it looks. It'll be kind of folded up like so in the bag. Now, the last project that you can do is making this out of your paper bag. You can make your very own wildlife journal. You'll see Miss Jaclyn's sample is right here. I actually use the paints that will come in your bag to do a design on the front. So I'll explain to you how we're going to put that together. So you will find in your bag, you will find white paper for the center of your journal, and you will find a bag with some string to thread your journal together. You're also going to need, which I'll put that back in this bag, you're also going to need to cut up your paper bag. Now, you will see right here that I have cut out the paper bag in kind of a long ways because you're going to need enough to be able to make the cover of your journal. So, the white paper that Miss Jaclyn has provided for you, you're going to have to fold it in half, and then you can measure it on your paper bag to be able to cut out a brown section. It can be a tad bit longer than your white paper. It doesn't have to be too much longer. The next important step is you're going to have to poke 5 holes into the center between, well, this will be your binding. You can see right there. Now, I use the safety pin that seemed to be the sharpest, so you might have to ask a grown-up for a safety pin. And you're also going to need to ask a grown-up for a needle because I provided the embroidery thread, but you're going to need a pretty large needle because it needs to have a large place for the string to go through. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go through the center. So it'll be 1, 2, then the third one. You're going to want to come from the inside, and when you go out, you pull it through the next one next to it on the outside, so it'll make the first stitch right here. But when you pull it back in this way, make sure that you leave a tail here of about 1 inch to 2 inches, okay? And the next way you're gonna go is you're gonna go in the second, which also makes sure that your holes line up with the outside brown paper. And you'll be able to create your first one on the inside. And then you're going to come back through the hole that is, here, let's see so you can see. So it'll come out this way, and you're going to go back in through this one. And sometimes it's hard to find where the hole is, but if you need to pull, at this point the journal is still loose enough apart that you can pull it so you can see it a little bit better. And if it's not perfectly aligned, that's okay. This is a wildlife journal. It does not need to be as fancy as any other journal. It's exactly the way that we create it will be perfect. So the next thread that you're going to do is you're going to go through the one where the tail is. You can see through the one where the tail is. You'll come back out. Make sure your tail doesn't get caught up in there. You'll be back on the outside, which actually Miss Jaclyn's doesn't line up very well on the outside, but that's okay. You're going to come back in. There will be this second hole there. And again, Miss Jaclyn's just trying to line it up so that it comes through well. You're back on the inside again. Go back to the outside through your last hole. Once you have it through there, you then come back through on this side to create the last stitch on kind of the outside area. And once you pull it in, you will be almost finished. So what you're going to do from here is you're going to cut your string, again the same length, maybe an inch or 2 inches, and then you tie them together, and then you can trim them, and now you have your journal bound together like an actual book. If you need any help, if you start having issues, definitely don't hesitate to give us a call here in the children's room. I'm more than happy to help you guys, because I know that sometimes it's a little bit harder when you're trying to follow a video at home. But there we have it. So now you will have a journal. You'll have the makings of your journal, or kangaroo dot painting, your Bilby Zentangle, and there's a little surprise friend in each of your bags that will get to come home with you. Because who doesn't love a koala friend? And so I hope you guys are excited to do all these crafts and learn a little bit more about Australia and American Girl Kira Bailey. If you ever want to check her books, her stories, she has 2 stories out right now. If you ever want to check them out here from the Palm Harbor Library, definitely come on in and we will show you where they are, and we can always place a hold on them for you, and you will really enjoy them. They're really good, really good. So I will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.